So many questions surrounding the distribution of vaccines across the country, and former FEMA presidential nominee Mark Nouveau is joining us now to talk about the White House's latest COVID vaccinations efforts. Mark, thanks so much for joining us again. We really appreciate it. The administration releasing more supply and activating FEMA to meet the goal of 1 million vaccines given out to people per day. Do you see that as a reasonable goal? Can they achieve that?
Yeah, they can. Now, this is an all-concerted effort, no question about it. FEMA's been put in the lead, but they also are requesting and getting cooperation from multiple agencies, Health and Human Services, CDC, National Institutes of Health, and in particular, the Department of Defense is coming in big time. Interesting enough, the new Secretary of Defense sent out a letter last month talking about what his role is in the new position, and he talked about COVID-19, which is somewhat unique for Secretary of Defense to call that out. But that tells you how important this is for the country.
Yeah, that is very interesting. And of course, this is a combination effort by the states and the federal government. We know the states are getting a 16% increase in supply flowing to each and every state. When it comes to California and the issues that we've been having, do you think it's going to help us to get increased supply, even though we're having problems with the vaccines we already have, sitting in freezers, sitting in transit somewhere?
Yeah, great question, Ty. Yes, it is going to help. That's the biggest concern across the country is people, number one, need more vaccine. They need to know when it's coming so they can plan. In the case of California, over the last 3 weeks, or 13 days, they've been able to administer 3.1 million vaccinations, which is a great increase. You've seen the governor take a couple of different steps. He's partnering with Salesforce and Accenture to have what they call My Turn application for appointments. And they've also, 2 days ago, announced a partnership with Kaiser and Blue Cross to manage as a third party the vaccination program. So you're seeing him step forward. They're progressing, which is great news.
That is great news. Let's go back to the federal government response. They're doing 100 new community vaccination centers throughout the country to try and speed up this process. How do you see that adding to the infrastructure of getting the vaccine rollout to be much quicker, much more efficient?
Not only quicker and efficient, but more coordinated, which is one of the challenges. We have so many people trying to do good things. Health plans, health departments, state emergency management agencies. So to have a coordinator like FEMA, the federal government, to come in and assist. Now, keep in mind, they're going to set up 100 community vaccination centers in the next 30 days, but they're also going to augment and support those that are already there. The president has set 100% financing for states to be able to move forward. So if they're using the National Guard, they're trying to remove all the roadblocks to make sure we can get this presidential vaccine campaign off and rolling.
Sounds like they're starting to get that snowball created. Once it gets rolling, it's hopefully going to be a big one and do us some good. Let's talk about the vaccines and the newest one that's now on the table. We knew about Moderna, we knew about Pfizer. Now we've got Johnson & Johnson in phase 3 clinical trials. Is that going to help us? Is more the merrier when it comes to vaccines, or is it going to get complicated with so many different pros and cons with each different vaccine?
Well, it certainly presents challenges in terms of making sure that they're administered properly, because each one has a little bit different. You know, one of them has to be stored at sub-zero temperatures, other ones do not. The more supply that's out there, the better off we're going to be. And so far, by the way of the testing, there's been very little side effects to it. So the more vaccine we can roll out, the quicker we can get to that 75% of the U.S. population vaccinated, which presents herd immunity, and people can go back to their normal life and visiting family and going out and having fun.
Well, Mark Nouveau, former FEMA presidential nominee, thank you for that positive outlook on what is coming down from the federal government and the combination of the state effort as well. We really appreciate it. Happy Friday to you and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Ty. Happy Friday to you as well.
Thank you, sir.